Tom Aspinall is getting more heat for the eye poke incident after video footage of him going to the hospital got uploaded where the nurses say that there isn't any like serious damage to the eye. People saying that this is proof Tom overreacted. He uploaded a full vlog that came out pretty quickly actually after this eye poke, like literally like within 12 hours of the event or so. We have this full-length video of him in the hospital talking to different doctors, and we see both kind of how severe the eye is in some parts, but also in some other parts, some fans kind of pointing out maybe Tom was being dramatic. Tom Aspinall uploaded this video, and as we know, he got his eye poked by Ciryl Gane, and immediately he got sent to the hospital. Okay, like nothing, no press conference, like right away to the hospital because he was saying he could not see. It was literally pure black coming from his eye. So afterwards, Tom is talking to a nurse and getting his eye checked out slowly but surely, saying he cannot see anything out of his eye. He even details that, and I cringe saying this, that Ciryl Gane's fingers literally went behind his eye socket. And I don't know, guys, I cringe out whenever there's anything really bad with eyes. It is always the worst. Despite Tom saying that he can't see anything, there is, I guess, good news for Tom Aspinall and good news for the Tom Aspinall haters, because there's a clip of this nurse saying that there isn't any serious damage or any, real damage, I guess.
There is no external features of trauma here.
Which, of course, there wasn't any real damage. Like, I didn't think that Tom Aspinall was going to lose his eye from the situation or anything like that. But he does go to the next doctor, and it looks really bad. Like, he's trying to open his eyes. The lights are affecting his eyes because, they've just been shut for so long. He's saying both of his eyes are blurry. Literally, both of his eyes were affected. He basically was blind in there. And that's what I said even when we were, when both of his eyes got poked. I said maybe both of his eyes are affecting him, and that seems to be the case. According to him, both eyes were blurry. Eventually, Tom gets cleared from the hospital, and there's a lot of pictures of him afterwards. I'll show you guys on the screen right now. This is what Tom Aspinall looked like, I guess, hours later after the UFC event took place, after he got poked in the eye. And it's bad. His eyes are red. Like, this is just so bad. Like, honestly, this isn't one of the worst eye pokes I don't think we've seen in UFC history. There have been worse eye pokes, do not get me wrong. But, I mean, the amount of weight that was on this fight, just because of the whole John Jones situation, just because, Tom Aspinall, this is finally his chance to be the heavyweight champion, to be respected as the undisputed heavyweight champion, to show off his skill. And that's what happens. That's how it ends. We were all excited. Like I said, I was live for the fight. The excitement was there. There was high energy going into the fight, and it just dissipated. Now, Tom Aspinall's team were talking in the video amongst themselves at one point. I think this was a little bit earlier into the video, and it seems like to me that Tom Aspinall's team were liking how the fight was going, which is interesting, right? The narrative online is Ciryl Gane looked way better. He was bloodying up Tom, which is all true. However, I do not necessarily agree that Ciryl Gane was going to win and that he's going to win the rematch and that this is all done. I don't agree with that at all. Matter of fact, I actually, amongst watching this fight probably now 5-10 times, I don't know why I've watched this fight so many times. I mean, I guess it's just 2 minutes, but amongst watching it that many times, like, yeah, Tom is getting hit, and there's definitely a lot of bad things that Tom is doing, and Tom could have hypothetically gotten caught. I think if Tom was going to lose that fight that night, it was going to be by knockout. I think it was going to be him getting caught up in something. However, it seemed to me also on the flip side of things, he was pressuring Ciryl Gane. He was shooting takedowns, and he was mixing in his boxing, kind of like how we actually saw Khabib talk to Tom Aspinall about backstage, and Khabib say to do to Ciryl Gane. That's what he kind of was doing. And we were seeing, Ciryl Gane's mouth open, which is something that actually Tom Aspinall's team pointed out backstage after the whole eye poke. They said his mouth was opening, and that was their game plan, I think, to, wear down Ciryl Gane, because there's a lot of conversation I'm seeing online. Crazy conversation. Absolutely insane, guys, that we are judging a no contest fight that is like less than 3 minutes or so. How long was this fight? People talking about, oh, John Jones and Ciryl Gane. Guys, that was 2023. Ciryl Gane has improved. We cannot just make the same conclusion, okay? This isn't Ciryl Gane in 2023 versus Tom Aspinall. We cannot say that. And I know this is, I know the comments are going to say I'm coping, so whatever. You guys want to say I'm coping, you guys can say I'm coping, but it's just the facts. Like, at this point, like, just to try to compare and just say, like, oh, John Jones owns Tom Aspinall, Tom was going to lose. Guys, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Let's see this rematch. Let's see this through. We cannot judge this fight. The fact that people are actually judging this fight, it's actually lunacy. Like, it's actually, like, I don't even think I've used that word ever in my life except for this moment. That is how much this situation is affecting me. Like, seriously, like, absolutely insane. Please, let's get this fight rebooked ASAP. I actually think that Tom was on his way to winning. I said it. Yeah, I know. I understand. And this isn't me. This is me being for real. If you actually watch him, he is pressuring Ciryl Gane. I think at that pace, he would have slowed down Ciryl Gane. I think it would have gotten to be enough. By the end of the fight, Tom had Ciryl going backwards, throwing body kicks, and I felt like the volume was going to add up. I felt like Ciryl Gane could potentially get tired, just, getting hit with body shots, getting hit with fast shots, being afraid of the takedown. I think he would have caught Ciryl Gane, or he would have slowed him down. I think it would have went to the second round, maybe the third round. It would have went longer than I thought, absolutely. And I definitely think, look, I'm not going to lie, the rematch is definitely close. I'm not going to have the same attitude of Tom Aspinall is going to finish him in a round like I did before. Okay, yeah, I was wrong about that. Absolutely. I underestimated Ciryl Gane. I'll admit my mistakes, but I still think Tom Aspinall was on his way to winning, and I think Tom Aspinall will win the rematch. See his dad talking and just, kind of, in my opinion, taking some shots at Ciryl Gane. Tom's dad kind of says that the UFC should start keeping track of people that do fouls and get away with it. So we know, like, if there's a guy that is consistently getting fouls in every fight, and it's like literally a habit of theirs, they're going to get exposed, which I actually do agree with Tom's dad about. This is something I'm surprised the UFC doesn't do. I'm surprised that the fans don't do, and maybe the fans should do it. Like, we have UFC Roster Watch. Why don't we have a Twitter account dedicated to counting the fouls? Like, which UFC fighter has the most fouls? I want to know right now. Like, that is some vital information, because there are definitely tons of fighters, we know this, that might cheat, might push the rules, or blur the lines, or blur your eyes like Tom Aspinall's eyes. He had to consistently be ready for John Jones at all times, keep training for a fight that obviously never happened and will never happen. He would kept being ready this whole time, because if the UFC called Tom and said, hey, you know what, John just agreed to fight you in 2 months, in 3 months, Tom doesn't have an opportunity to say, oh, hold up, let me get ready. He doesn't have a chance to negotiate. It's going to happen on John's time. So Tom had to stay ready this whole time. He's been in shape. This was his big, the big way to, pay everything off, pay off the training, all the hard work that Tom Aspinall had put in. This was a way for him to kind of release it, to make it all matter. And it literally did not, because he literally now, I'm sure he was going to go on vacation after this fight, not train right away. Like, what is he going to do? Go right back in the gym? I'm sure Tom doesn't want to do that. You're now adding even more months. Like, this should have been just the payoff. It really does suck for Aspinall. As I've said, he is friends with Michael Bisping. I could only imagine the thoughts going through his head, and he even mentions Michael Bisping, which makes me feel even more vindicated. I have been saying this. I said it when we were live streaming on Saturday. I said it on Sunday, and I'm saying it again. Having Michael Bisping as your friend that, fought MMA and lost his eye during fighting MMA, I understand it wasn't an eye poke, but still lost his eye. All those thoughts are going to be in your head. Like, I would be paranoid. Like, I would be shitting. Like, I don't even know. Like, I would have tapped out right away once I got my eye poked, honestly. The fact that the UFC is going to get paid $1 billion a year, guys, $1 billion a year, and they cannot invest in making a glove that just doesn't, do eye pokes. They did a glove before last year, yes, and it didn't work. But keep in mind, those gloves really did not affect eye poke. At the time, it was criticized because there wasn't much new technology in regards to eye pokes. So why don't we have a new glove or something like that? Like, I think that's the logical next step. Is it really that hard? Like, I mean, there are tons of gloves I've seen online that easily prevent eye pokes. The UFC can't get their hands on it. I hope that this is a wake-up call for the UFC. It is 2025. We need to get rid of this. They are a multi-billion-dollar company, guys. Multi-billion. They're connected with TKO, who is worth so much. Has WWE, UFC, this new boxing thing. Dana White alone could probably pay for new gloves for the UFC. I mean, what are we doing here at this point? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Check out my last video where I talked about Dana White reacting to Tom Aspinall, going after him, not being happy. You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.